Michael Saylor not only has orange pilled corporations around the globe, he has done it to multiple governments. The latest being Pakistan, one of the largest countries in the Middle East. Now, why do I think that this is interesting? Well, it's a very energy dense country, not only that, but it's also a move towards getting a little bit closer to that BRICS region. We've already seen Michael Saylor orange pill Brazil and come down and have a secret meeting. We'll get into that here in a minute. But Pakistan is entrusting somebody from the United States to say, hey, we want you to be our strategic crypto advisor for everything here going forward, everything Bitcoin related. And what is Michael Saylor, right? He's a Bitcoin maxi to the T. So he's not going to let Pakistan make any mistakes here. And he's going to tell them to keep buying and buying and buying Bitcoin. Now, the interesting aspect of Pakistan is that it is the 45th country by GDP. Now, would you looky here? Look at the 44th here. We got the Czech Republic, where I am sitting here coming to you guys live from Prague. Well, what happened here recently in the Czech Republic? We saw the Czech Republic could become the West's first country to have a national bank to hold crypto assets. We've also had their central bank conduct research on buying Bitcoin and holding it as a strategic reserve asset. Who also is linked to the Czech Republic, or to Prague for that matter? Well, the Giga Chad himself, Michael Saylor. He's spoken at this very conference that I'm here for literally the past 3 years. He's had outstanding speeches, and it seems like every destination that he goes to, he's meeting with the presidents or very influential people. Michael Saylor also did the same thing in Portugal, in the island of Madeira. Now, the Madeira Island is one of the more unique circular economies because it's a circular economy that's very far away from its mainland. But the interesting aspect is that Saylor's connected to all of these different nation states that are looking to build these circular economies and move forward in that respect. And, we looked at this not too long ago, that Brazil, the largest country in Latin America, Michael Saylor is making a secret visit and praised Bitcoin adoption by Brazilian banks. He's also had a ton of unique things to say about the currency of Brazil, saying that nobody's going to buy that. Everybody's going to look at Bitcoin and not the Brazilian currency, because the Brazilian currency is just strictly way too volatile. And all of these other nation states are now looking at, hey, should we look to include Bitcoin on the balance sheet? Now, what was the other inflation hedge that they all looked to put on previously? Well, it was gold. And we're starting to see gold reserves really start to fall down a little bit here. We're starting to see gold reserves be in question. The United States just had a potential audit of Fort Knox, but they found out it would take way too long. So is the gold that is being claimed here as of December 24th, is that actually there? Germany is the second largest holder of gold in the world, but I don't know if we can really trust these numbers. It's not like everybody is going around and verifying these numbers, right? But something that we can verify is how much Bitcoin is held by different countries, which is interesting because we don't have to look at, we don't have to look at all of these different audits or the amount of time that it could take. What we do see is we see that China and the US are the top two leaders here. And we, interestingly enough, have UK, and we had Germany, who is the second biggest holder in gold, sell off all of their Bitcoin. Well, soon, I imagine more of these countries are going to pop up, especially as Michael Saylor keeps making this global world tour. Now, the interesting aspect of what he has with Pakistan goes back and relates to what he's proposed, in my opinion, to the United States. Of course, I've been covering this for a little bit, but he's proposed that the U.S. buy up to 25% of the overall supply of Bitcoin. So there's 21 million. But if you look at River and some of these other reports that have been published, majority of people think there's close to 2.5 to 3 million Bitcoin lost. So they estimate about 18.5 million is just the total supply as of today, accounting for some of these lost coins. So that 5 million Bitcoin that he's proposing is actually more than that 25%. He said at a minimum, the United States should be looking at buying 1 million Bitcoin. Now, where did he get that 1 million number? He got it from Senator Cynthia Lummis, who at first, she was a pioneer of this whole space and thinking that there was no shot that we could ever see the United States buying up to 1 million Bitcoin. Of course, she's dug her foot in the sand and really tried to get this moving along. And there seems to be significant progress. But as I was saying, we really haven't gotten to a point where we are seeing these being acted on just yet. We're seeing several states start to include Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and that seems to be accelerating. But the Bitcoin Act looked to put 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years, so 200,000 Bitcoin a year, with a minimum holding period of 2 decades. I mean, how can you get more bullish than that statement there? They're like, hey, we want to put 1 million Bitcoin on the balance sheet over 5 years. So we're going to tell literally everybody and their mother, hey, we are buying Bitcoin right here, right now. And we're doing this 200,000 Bitcoin over the course of a year because we want to get the cost basis right. Wall Street's going to front run it. Publicly traded companies who have access to these debt markets are going to do it. And they're tapping into that Bitcoin bond or to that bond market that I was describing earlier. I mean, Wells Fargo is even talking about it. BlackRock has outwardly said we are seeing investors flee from bond markets and get towards Bitcoin. Now, it really makes you think. We've got literally two of the largest asset managers in the world saying, hey, you know what? Hand up. Bitcoin is starting to take some of this market share of the $300 trillion global bond market. That is just insane. It's ludicrous. And on top of it, we're going to have nation states start to look at Bitcoin as a viable asset. And if you look at assets by market cap, we've seen Bitcoin skyrocket up to become the 7th largest asset by market cap on the heels of Google. It's been passing Google, and Google's been passing Bitcoin as the volatility goes. But the 6th to 7th largest asset in the world in just a 15 to 16 year time period. It's absolutely crazy. At first, it was just for criminals and everything else, but now Bitcoin's being legitimized. And the reality is that traditional finance isn't even here yet. They're waiting. They're still looking at the volatility. Oh, maybe it's too volatile. They don't want to put a ton of, of their portfolios into it. If you do the math, about 20% of portfolios should allocate some to Bitcoin. 20% of that, 100% of their overall portfolio. But the reality is that these asset managers are saying, hey, we're going to put in 25 basis points to maybe 2 to 3%. So they're very minimal. But I mean, I've had traditional financial guys come in and say the numbers work all the way up to 20%. Everybody is just worried about the volatility with Bitcoin right now. So the reality is traditional finance hasn't caught up yet. And once this strategic Bitcoin reserve comes and is actually written into law and the United States starts to buy Bitcoin, well, that's going to make things accelerate. And Michael Saylor is out here, boots on the ground, going to everybody and their mother and talking to them, saying, hey, we need to buy Bitcoin, do it ASAP like Rocky. I mean, it's actually, honestly, ridiculous here that we are not seeing more nation states come on board. But I think we're going to start to see that here pretty soon. I mean, it's not a strategic reserve bill, but we're seeing the Asian nation of Kyrgyzstan considering a Bitcoin strategic reserve. They haven't happened yet, but then we also saw Thailand today just voted to eliminate capital gains to promote the country as a crypto hub. So we all know Thailand is a big, big spot for digital nomads, but the reality is Thailand is the 26th country by GDP. So we've got a lot of tourism in Thailand, but we also have a decent amount of wealth just floating around there. So these countries that are starting to come on board are bigger and bigger. And we're going to start to see that come up, especially as we start to see this number go up. Look, we haven't really seen it yet, but I mean, if you zoom out here, right, year to date, 13%. Everybody's been talking about tariffs this, tariffs that. We've had a lot of, potential geopolitical conflicts going on here recently, and we still have Bitcoin up 13% year to date. The honey badger don't care, folks. We're going to still see Bitcoin pump on. So Benihana's in the chat saying, I just gave away a mountain bike for his great-great-granddaughter. Potentially with those 500 sats, you never know. Giving away generational wealth. Hey, man, Bitcoin's generational run is continuing. Knox Bill, hey, man, it's not just me saying this 1 million mark. A lot of people are tossing it around. Down Under Blues, I'm in Europe, man. I mean, it's 3:13 here, man. I gotta get up and at 'em. I have too much energy to not be ripping with you guys as of today. I can't be waiting all night long. But one thing that you shouldn't wait on is actually protecting and storing your Bitcoin and doing it properly. This is why I'm dressed like a funeral director on this very website, thebitcoinway.com/greencandle. The folks at Bitcoin Way have literally over 25 years of cybersecurity experience. They can help you get your Bitcoin off an exchange, do it securely. They will never touch your private keys or do anything along those lines. They just want to help you and make you feel comfortable about taking your Bitcoin off exchange. So you can go to thebitcoinway.com/greencandle, and I'm going to give you a free 30-minute consultation. You can see what they can help you with, because they got a lot of tools in that toolbox that they can help you create and store that generational wealth. So do it today, do it fast, because we're seeing national banks and banking industry start to really look at putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet. We've got nation states, we've got central banks, we've got corporations around the globe starting to do it. We've got Brazilian banks, and soon enough, we're going to have the US banks. I mean, we had JP Morgan allowing their clients to hold Bitcoin. And then now they're offering financing to their clients where they could get Bitcoin backed loans here. Despite the Basel crypto rules, right? I mean, it's crazy. We're seeing everybody literally start to bend the knee to Bitcoin, and they're going to do it quick. So make sure you guys are smoking that like Cheech and Chong, hitting that subscribe button, telling a friend to tell a friend. I'm going to go catch a beer over here in Prague. So I hope to see some of you guys out here. Come and bug me. Come and kick me in the chest. Tell me what you love about my channel or what you hate. And I hope to interact with a bunch of you guys out here in Prague. So I'll catch you guys at the next one.